Mental health is a serious issue, and yet many fail to acknowledge this. There are several movies, several books that discuss about such issues, and yet we as the audience fail to see the depth of it. Today in this video, we are going to talk about one such novel which discusses these issues with its beautifully portrayed characters. Kite Runner is a 2003 published novel of debutant Khalid Hosseini, an Afghan-American author, which has also been the inspiration of a movie with the same name. The story revolves around the character of two true friends, Hussein and Amir, who actually happens to be half-brothers. The character of Amir and Sohrab, son of Hassan, are the two characters we will be primarily focusing on in this video. Timed in the era of 1970s till 2002, the story transcends through the political conflicts and coming age of Taliban in Afghanistan, and how were the two friends bonded in their early childhood days.
PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health disorder which is caused due to some terrifying event which the victim might have witnessed or experienced. Usual symptoms of PTSD are flashbacks, nightmares, and anxiety. The victim might think about the event again and again. People with PTSD may carry overwhelming guilt. The condition can trouble the victim for months or years.
Grief seems to be a daily life word in most people's lives. But what exactly does it stand for? Well, grief is an overwhelming feeling or emotion influenced by nature of loss that might be personal or universal to people. It has ways of manifestation. One of the most accepted one is the five stages of grief concept by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross.
Here, we will be talking about the phases in which one vents grief. First is anger, second, depression, and third, acceptance. These all phases are observed in the character of Sohrab. Sohrab is completely traumatized by the heinous crimes he endures. He sees his parents murdered, suffers and starves in an orphanage, and worst of all, is sexually abused. In first scene, we see that how Sohrab manifests his anger. Finally, he stands against the sexual abuse and atrocities done by the sociopath character of Asif on him. He is overwhelmed by the emotion of his parents' loss and didn't want to lose Amir, in whom he sees a guardian, someone who will take care of him and love him unconditionally, like his parents Farzana and Hassan did. He refutes Asif and hits him with a slingshot and eye. The second scene is the manifestation of grief in form of depression. Sohrab had gone through the hardest of times an 8-year-old boy could go through. He had surpassed discrimination that Hazara community faced in Afghanistan, loss of parents, mental and physical abuse. But the heroic actions and words of Amir revoked hopes in Sohrab, gave him the strength to aspire to have a better life with him and his wife in California. But unfortunately, due to the complexities in the adoption and visa process for America, the prospects of Sohrab going to US were doomed. When Sohrab learns about this, that he must return to the orphanage again, he is heartbroken and devastated. He feels as if Amir has betrayed him and broken his promise,
As we discussed
and
earlier,
rather than going
PTSD is
to the
caused by
orphanage,
witnessing
he
or
attempts
experiencing a
suicide.
traumatic event. In Kite Runner, the disorder is displayed through the character of Amir, who suffers PTSD after witnessing the assault of Hassan. Hassan was assaulted by Asif, a fast friend of Amir, and Amir did nothing to prevent it. Well, for the first few months after the incident, Amir constantly goes out of his way to avoid seeing or even talking to Hassan because of the overwhelming guilt he felt. Amir's guilt even pushed him to seek physical punishment for his inaction and betrayal of his friend. In one of the scenes, Amr is practically begging Hassan to throw pomegranates at him so he can feel at least some pain for what he did. Amir's shame and guilt follow him throughout his whole life, even when he and his father start a new life in America. He can never forget what he did in the past as it haunts him through vivid memories, nightmares, and other triggers. At one point, Amir has a terrible nightmare about Hassan and wakes up with a scream trapped in his throat. In later chapters, years after the incident happens, Amir got into a fight with Asif to save Sohaib, who happens to be Hassan's son. And in the process, he gets hurt badly. Amir recalls that he finally feels healed and at peace. Amir was finally able to overcome his guilt over 26 years later when he did not let himself repeat his mistake and got what he thought as rightful punishment for his past actions.